Downton Abbey returns with its exciting moments and engrossing plotline. Yet, what lies ahead for the Crawley family and Lady Mary in the upcoming film? And there's some surprising news to discover as well. Downton Abbey 3 is set to undergo significant cast changes, which is quite astonishing. Sybil's unexpected demise in the midst of Season 3 remains one of the most startling twists in Downton Abbey's history. Lady Sybil held a special place in the hearts of Downton family. Interestingly, her departure from the show was part of the original plan for Downton Abbey. Portrayed by Jessica Brown, Sybil was a bit of a rebel and undeniably a remarkable lady. She symbolized hope for those around her, given her considerable wealth and status, as well as her keen interest in politics, which showcased her sharp intellect. A standout example of her compassionate nature can be seen in an episode from Downton Abbey's first season, where Sybil assisted one of the household maids, Gwen, in leaving the estate to secure a job as a secretary. She fell in love with Tom Branson, the family chauffeur, and eloped with him, causing initial turmoil within the family. However, they eventually returned, and the extended family came to accept her choice. Sadly, all hope was dashed when Sybil tragically passed away during childbirth. Jessica Brown Findlay became the first prominent cast member to depart from Downton Abbey, but it was a premeditated decision as she had made it clear from the outset how long she intended to stay with the series. Julian Fellowes, the creator of Downton Abbey, explained, as reported by Vanity Fair, Jessica had announced her departure right from the beginning. She had stated, "I'm committing to 3 years, then I'm moving on." So it was all planned from the start. The reason for Sybil's departure from Downton Abbey was quite understandable, as the actress wanted to explore a wider range of roles and not be confined to the character of Lady Sybil in Downton Abbey. Jessica Brown Findlay was just 20 years old when she was cast, so it was natural for her to be concerned about being pigeonholed as the aristocratic Lady Sybil and to seek a more diverse career. Fortunately, Brown Findlay's exit paved the way for Lily James to join Downton Abbey as their cousin Lady Rose. In A New Era, Tom Branson finally finds love, and this poignant moment is beautifully underscored by composer John Lund's ballroom score. During the grand ballroom sequence, Lund skillfully orchestrated the music to evoke memories of Sybil while simultaneously ushering in a new chapter in Tom Branson's life. While the film could have incorporated flashbacks to include Lady Sybil, the limited 2-hour runtime led the producers to concentrate on the numerous characters who are still part of Downton's story. Additionally, it's worth noting that our cherished matriarch, Lady Maggie Smith, is absent from the movie. Given that the Dowager passed away at the conclusion of the sequel, this was foreshadowed in the first film. While flashbacks are always a possibility, it appears unlikely that she would return for a third installment. Before we move forward, please remember to show your support by liking this content and hitting the subscribe button. Your love is greatly appreciated. Turning our attention to the rest of the cast, it's quite likely that Cora will make a return. Although she faced a brief health scare, she received prompt treatment and a positive prognosis, indicating that Elizabeth McGovern could reprise her role, as well as Hugh Bonneville as Robert Crawley. Michelle Dockery, who portrays Lady Mary Talbot and effectively serves as the captain of Downton, would be an expected and welcome return, alongside her sister Lady Edith, portrayed by Laura Carmichael. We should also be seeing Penelope Wilton as Isabel Grey, Douglas Reith as Richard Dickey Grey, Harry Haddon Payton as Herbert Bertie Pelham, Edith's husband, and Imelda Staunton as Maud. Apart from Mary's ongoing journey, there's also the possibility of American characters coming to the forefront as the Crawleys open their world to other countries to pursue both personal and business relationships. Not to mention, Downton doesn't shy away from difficult topics, shining a spotlight on everything from the women's suffrage movement, birth control, and the post-traumatic stress and post-war horrors that followed in World War I's wake. Downton Abbey: A New Era, the second feature film that followed the 6-season series, has left us longing to know what the characters of this perfectly coiffed and tailored world are up to, yet again. And that's where Downton Abbey 3 would come in. Despite this box office performance disparity, A New Era was generally well received by critics and fans alike. After all, there's some comfort in returning to this world and its characters, so another installment is possible. Now that Downton Abbey is set between 1928 and 1929, as indicated, the creeps are entering a new era filled with changes. The title itself confirms that some major changes are bound to happen to the Crawleys, and although those changes have begun, we are bound to see more complications and struggles for the Crawleys. Undoubtedly, the third film would tackle events after 1928, as that's where a new era ends. The sequel to the successful 2019 film features plenty of storylines. There were more intense storylines than in the 2 whole seasons of the series. Thomas and Lucy get married, and then the family is split as some of them head to France, and the others stay on the estate to keep an eye on a film crew that shoots a movie. The sequel reveals that Violet has inherited a villa in the south of France from an old boyfriend. She leaves the house of Sybil, the child of Branson and the late Sybil. The fact that every other child inherits everything except Sybil breaks Violet's heart, so she makes sure her granddaughter has something on her name to solve the matter of the villa's ownership. Robert, Cora, Edith, Branson, and a few others travel to France. In the meantime, Mary and Violet stay at Downton to welcome a film crew that is paying the family to make a romance movie. This is where we meet the guy named Dexter, played by Dominic West. The director ends up developing feelings for Mary, but she decides to stay faithful to her husband, and nothing happens. So, if a third film happens, it will have to feature the consequences of the upcoming years. The coming 1929 stock market crash will cause a lot of trouble, not only for Cora and her family, but for everyone in the Downton Abbey estate. The first installment of the series started with the sinking of the Titanic, which happened in 1912, and then the staff and family members were introduced to electricity. The family was then forced to survive World War I, with some terrible consequences, of course. After electricity, family members were introduced to telephones and cars. These events began when the London Stock Exchange crashed on September 20, 1929, 1 month before the Wall Street crash on October 24, 1929, when the U.S. market lost 11 at the opening bell. Stock markets around the world felt the consequences of the crash. England goes through a similar experience as the U.S. As you clearly remember, Cora is the only American in the Crawley family, and so her family will suffer the consequences of this period before it comes to the Crawleys. Cora Crawley's wealthy American mother and brother will certainly be involved in the events of the crash, but they can't be of any help anymore. You already know that the Crawleys enjoy a certain lavish lifestyle, and now that they can't afford such a lifestyle, it will be interesting to see how they will manage to cover their expenses. Lady Mary's first husband saved the family from bankruptcy, but he's not there anymore. So who do you think will save them? And how will they manage to survive this crisis? Tell us in the comments what you think of it. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.